This right here is a tardigrade, a creature carrying thousands of deadly viruses inside its tiny body. One touch, just one, and you'd be infected with hundreds of lethal diseases. Everyone around me stepped back the moment they saw it. But me, the second my eyes landed on it, they lit up. And right there, in front of everyone's stunned faces, I swallowed that tardigrade in a single gulp. People around me lost it. They asked if I'd gone completely insane. They were convinced I wouldn't survive even 3 days after this. But I just smiled, a cold, quiet smile, and said nothing. Because in just a few hours, the Disease Mutation Event was about to begin. And once it did, countless monsters would unleash chaos across the entire blue star. Ordinary humans would have zero chance against them. But those who were already sick, already carrying diseases, they would awaken with terrifying power. The more severe and numerous the diseases, the stronger the awakening would be. Take those with pink eye, for example. After awakening, destructive lasers started shooting from their eyes. They became just like Homelander, unstoppable, bowing to no one. Then there was Liu Ruhan from the Liu group. She had always suffered from an incredibly rare genetic disease. Her father, Liu Daying, searched the entire world for a cure and found nothing. But who could have known that this very disease would become her greatest blessing? The moment the mutation began, Liu Ruhan awakened as the legendary Saint of Disaster. Her cultivation speed was hundreds of times faster than any normal awakened person. And me, I would eventually become the Yan Demon Emperor, a man whose fury shook the world. But in my past life, my terrible health had pushed me to the very bottom of society. I ended up captured by the Liu group, forced to work in a mine, and I died there, grinding away until there was nothing left. But fate gave me another chance, rebirth. I opened the calendar on my phone. 1 month. That's how long remained before the Disease Mutation Event. And that meant I had time to prepare and time to collect different viruses. Liu Ruhan, your Liu group treated me like an animal in my last life. This time, the tables are turning. But collecting viruses wasn't going to be easy. First, I needed cash. I immediately called a loan company and mortgaged the house I had worked so hard to buy. They handed me $80,000 in cash. Because rare viruses, they definitely don't come cheap. That's when I remembered. In my past life, I'd heard of a wealthy man who had awakened a tardigrade body. He purchased a virus-infested tardigrade from an auction house. That auction house wasn't far. I grabbed a taxi and headed straight there. But at the front desk, they stopped me cold. Minimum entry required $1 million. I had no way in. So I slipped into a corner, took out my phone, and secured hundreds of thousands in online loans. It wasn't easy, but I made it inside. And that wealthy man, he bid against me round after round. In the end, I paid $1 million and sealed the deal. When that tardigrade finally landed in my hands, my heart was pounding. I knew exactly what this meant. In my past life, I had awakened the spiritual source of a tardigrade body, this so-called immortal form. It possessed not only extraordinary defensive power, but also rapid regeneration after injury. Both of these qualities were more than enough to destroy any enemy. But one tardigrade alone wasn't enough. I needed more viruses. I was still thinking about this when my phone buzzed. I looked at the screen and instantly felt a surge of rage. It was Kin Sichi, my girlfriend. The moment I saw her name, the anger inside me ignited. In my past life, Kin Sichi developed cancer. I poured every last bit of money and energy into caring for her. But I never imagined that after the mutation, her cancer would become the very source of skyrocketing power. And on that very day, she broke up with me. Later, she was the one who delivered me to the Liu Group's mine, where I worked until I took my last breath. But this time, after the mutation event begins, I will settle every single debt. I cut the call and was heading out of the auction house when a middle-aged man stepped into my path. He introduced himself as Chang Shou, the tardigrade seller. He asked why I spent so much on something that was considered a starting grade item. I grew suspicious and asked carefully what he meant by that. Chang Shou said to relax. He wasn't there to cause trouble. He had a deal in mind. He worked at a British biological research base in Daksha. They had access to samples of extremely rare viruses. If I wanted them, he could contact me directly. A sample would cost 500,000. My heart leapt. This was exactly what I needed, a water for a man dying of thirst. The price was steep, sure. When Chang Shou noticed my silence, he assumed the cost was the issue and immediately said it could be brought down to 300,000. I realized that was his absolute floor. I asked how many types of viruses his base had. He said around 100. I told him I wanted one copy of each. Could he get them? He said it was no problem. He had his ways. I just needed to put down half as a deposit up front. I agreed and added him on WeChat. But after he left, my anxiety crept back. For 100 viruses, I needed at least 30 million. That kind of money wasn't something I could gather through loans alone. Then suddenly, a memory surfaced. Back in the mine, during my past life, I had overheard that the Liu group was frantically collecting Tian Shan sweat loaches and destroying them. Was the Tian Shan sweat loaches a threat to Liu Ruhan, or could it cure her genetic disease before the mutation event? If that was true, my 30 million problem had just solved itself. If I sold this information to the Liu group, money would no longer be an issue. Liu Ruhan, in my last life, your Liu group killed me. But what if I actually cured you this time? Your greatest source of power would be gone forever. Would you even thank me for that?
The next morning, I walked into Liu Keilong's office. There, sitting in a wheelchair, was Liu Ruhan. Her beautiful face, her frail body, so completely different from the terrifying Modi she became in my past life. Because in that life, something fell from the sky above Donghai City, a spherical object that multiple powerful figures clashed violently to possess. Liu Ruhan fought a brutal, blood-soaked battle among those warriors, relying on her holy body of disaster, and claimed that treasure for herself. After getting her hands on it, she slaughtered every single living person in Donghai City without mercy, every last one. That was why she earned the title of Modi. But now, if I healed this woman, it would genuinely be for the good of the world. Right now, Liu Keilong was looking me up and down. He had already pulled up all my information. No background, nobody behind me, just a completely ordinary person. If this had been the early days of Ruhan's illness, he never would have let someone like me anywhere near her. But he had no options left. He had no choice but to give me a chance. He asked how I planned to treat his daughter. I told him, "Mr. Liu, if my method works, you'll have to pay me a reward of 100 million yuan. He replied that money wasn't the issue, but he doubted whether I was even worthy of collecting it. I looked him straight in the eye and said her disease could be cured with Tian Shan snow lotus. His jaw nearly dropped. Is that actually true? Though Liu Keilong was confused, he told his secretary to prepare it immediately. While the medicine was simmering, I sat across from Ruhan and watched her quietly. I had never imagined that the fierce, terrifying Ruhan from my past life looked this calm, this innocent before her awakening. Liu Keilong didn't like the way I was looking at his daughter. The anger inside him was building. He thought to himself, if this Tian Shan snow lotus doesn't work, I will not let you leave here alive. Right at that moment, the secretary entered with the prepared medicine. The instant Liu Ruhan drank it, her right hand, which had been completely lifeless for a long time, trembled. Just slightly, but it moved. Liu Keilong's eyes went wide. This was a miracle. Even he hadn't expected it to actually work. Mr. Liu, since my treatment method has proven effective, may I receive that 100 million yuan? He replied instantly. Transfer 100 million to Mr. Zhu's account. Yes, Chairman. Standing nearby, Liu Ruhan also expressed her gratitude toward me. I smiled to myself. When the right moment comes, you'll probably want to kill me. And just then, my phone lit up. 100 million had been credited to my account. I couldn't contain my joy. I told them I had urgent matters to attend to, turned around immediately, and walked out of Liu Keilong's office.
Exactly 1 hour later, in a high-end hotel, I placed a $10 million deposit on the table in front of Chang Shou. I checked his work certificate, confirming he was genuinely a researcher. Then I told him I was giving him 2 days, after which I would make the full payment and he would deliver the goods to the same location. I also told him to mix all 100 viruses into a single test tube. Because viruses are no joke. If I died from them before the disease mutation event even started, everything would be wasted. Chang Shou looked a bit confused, but he agreed without hesitation. As far as he was concerned, as long as the money was coming in, what his customers did with the product was none of his business. After saying goodbye to Chang Shou, my heart was pounding harder than ever. With these viruses and the upcoming disease mutation event, I could become an extraordinarily powerful person no matter what happened. But I wasn't satisfied just with that. In my past life, even someone as powerful as Liu Ruhan was nothing in front of me. I have over 100 viruses now, but is that really enough to rule the world? I've been reborn, so I either do nothing or I become the most powerful person on this planet. Wasting an opportunity like this would be unforgivable. After thinking it over, I decided to also acquire some nuclear wastewater. Extremely toxic, and perhaps something magical might come from it. 2 days flew by in the blink of an eye. In that time, I didn't just collect several types of industrial wastewater. I also managed to quietly purchase nuclear wastewater, sourced through some very discreet online channels. Now I just needed those 100 viruses to arrive. And right on cue, Chang Shou called. 2 hours later, he showed up at the same hotel, exactly as promised. Very carefully, he pulled a box from his pocket and said, "As per your request, I've placed all 105 mutated viruses from our research base inside, and this USB contains full details on all 105. Keep it safe. If it's lost, I have no way of getting it again." I completely ignored the USB flash drive and stared straight at the test tube inside the box. The liquid inside was a faint shade of blue. It didn't look dangerous at all, but in reality, a single drop of this could send someone directly to the afterlife. Chang Shou noticed me staring without saying a word and couldn't help himself. He cleared his throat twice and said, "Look, I'll be up front. You were the one who asked me to mix all these viruses together. So once you take this, I can't guarantee whether the viruses inside will remain stable or not." I ignored his rambling, carefully resealed the box, told him our deal was complete, and walked out of the room quickly. After I left, Chang Shou noticed the USB flash drive still sitting on the table. He was a little surprised, but now that he had his money, he had zero interest in unnecessary complications. He pocketed the cash and walked out of the hotel. And just like that, the days began passing at a frightening speed. Over the next stretch of time, I spent the remaining millions on high-end luxuries and fine living. At the same time, I continued collecting several more critical viruses. My storage cabinet was completely packed. I was already thinking about adding some venomous creatures, snakes and scorpions, when suddenly a breaking news alert flashed on the TV. Breaking news! Just 10 minutes ago, a bridge over a river in Country H collapsed without warning. Heavy casualties are feared. The footage on screen was blurry, but even through the static, you could clearly make out the famous bridge of Country H. That grand, seemingly indestructible structure had been slit clean in half, the two sections completely separated. It looked like something colossal had kicked it apart. The moment I saw this, I snapped to full alert. The disease mutation event was truly closing in. That bridge, thousands of meters long, looked like it had been sliced through the center with a razor-sharp blade. I was completely on edge now. This was a sign that it was about to begin.
In my past life, the bridge had been cut by an alien beast, a red-tailed scorpion. At that time, the disease mutation event hadn't officially started, so the beast's realm was still limited to the border of the second forest hall. That's why the military of Country H managed to bring it down with modern weapons. Even so, over 500 people died in Country H because of that red-tailed scorpion. Initially, the government tried to cover up the incident. They didn't want the world to know about the red-tailed scorpion's presence. But they forgot that in today's internet age, news spreads in seconds. The destruction it caused was impossible to hide. Within just 2 days, photos and videos of the battle between the red-tailed scorpion and Country H leaked everywhere, and the entire blue star was consumed with fear. Thinking about all of this, my blood was boiling with excitement. It looks like my preparations won't go to waste. In this life, I will flip the entire story of my past life on its head. I will rise as the most powerful person in this world. 1 week later, a strange energy wave swept the entire blue star, and in that very instant, a voice echoed inside every single person's mind. The gateway to the disease mutation event is about to open. Did you hear that voice? The one saying the disease mutation event is about to start? I heard it too, so it wasn't just me? I thought I was imagining it. Is this some kind of prank? Is it true? Are all humans really about to evolve? It said the more serious the disease, the higher the level of evolution. I was just diagnosed with late-stage lung cancer yesterday. Is there still any hope for me? Hope with late-stage lung cancer? Brother, you're already buying a one-way ticket upstairs. I had zero interest in these pointless debates flooding the internet. I immediately pulled out all the viruses I had collected with so much effort. I was still deciding which bottle to use first when my phone buzzed again. Did you hear it? The gateway to the disease mutation event is about to open. God is really merciful. Even He knows that my life, Keen C. Chi's life, can't end this quickly, right? If only you hadn't refused to give me your kidney back then, I wouldn't be getting this incredible opportunity today. Can you come outside and meet me? Now that I know you're regretting what you did, I'll give you one more chance. Come to my place on the day the disease mutation event starts. I want to see just how deeply you apologize. After that, I'll decide whether to forgive you or not. After hanging up, I couldn't stop the smile from spreading across my face. A cold, quiet smile. When the right time comes, Keen C. Chi, you'll learn what real power looks like. You'll learn exactly who it is that everyone else must bow down to. While Keen C. Chi was riding high on her excitement, Liu Ruhan, on the other hand, was absolutely furious. How can the disease mutation event start now? My disease is only 40% healed. Does that mean our power will be severely weakened? This is all because of that Zhu Luo. I will not let him live. Don't worry, Zhu Luo is just a normal, healthy person. Once the disease mutation event begins, we'll have plenty of ways to deal with him. Meanwhile, I was standing at the table, staring at the viruses in front of me, lost in thought. After an entire month, the viruses had mutated to a completely different level. The blue liquid inside the tube had turned completely black, and inside that black liquid, something strange was visibly floating around. Apart from these 100 types of mutated viruses, I'd also collected a variety of other dangerous toxic substances of various sizes. But all of these needed to be mixed together first, because if something went wrong, like last time, I was afraid I wouldn't survive more than 2.5 minutes, and everything would be over before it even began. Soon, the countdown to the disease mutation event reached its final moments. Without hesitation, I grabbed the bottle containing the 100 mixed viruses, twisted open the cap, and brought it straight to my lips.